and welcome to webinar series hosted by Happiest Health as part of the Wellness webinar. I am Kumaran and I will be your host for today's session on discussing nurturing children's personality disorder through dance. Welcome to our webinar discussion on the profoundly impactful intersection of dance and personality development in children. Today, we embark on a journey to explore how the rhythm, movement, and expression inherent in dance serve as potent catalysts in nurturing the multifaceted dimensions of a child's personality. From fostering creativity and confidence to instilling discipline and emotional resilience, dance transcends the realm of mere physical activity, offering young minds a transformative avenue for self-discovery and growth. As we dwell into this enriching discourse, let us unravel the profound implications and boundless potential that lie within the art of dance to sculpt resilient, empathetic, and empowered individuals poised to navigate the complexities of tomorrow's world. We have with us our robust panel members, Preethi Rajagopalan, a dynamic force in the realm of dance movement therapy, who has passionately dedicated herself to leveraging the transformative power of movement and dance. With over 9 years of experience, she has spearheaded initiatives across diverse sectors, including corporates, education, and special needs communities, fostering emotional expression, communication, self-care through her innovative workshops and therapeutic sessions. As the co-director of the certificate course training program in dance movement therapy at the Creative Movement Therapy Association of India, she has been instrumental in shaping the landscape of this evolving discipline. Please join me in welcoming Preethi Rajagopalan. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next up, we have with us Dr. Anita Soni, a dedicated gynecologist at Dr. L.H. Hiranandani Hospital. With a profound passion for her field, Dr. Soni has devoted her career to specializing in high-risk pregnancies, demonstrating exceptional expertise in this critical area of women's health. She has been an integral part of Dr. L.H. Hiranandani Hospital since its inception, contributing significantly to its growth and reputation as a leading healthcare institution. Beyond her medical accomplishments, she brings a unique dimension to her life with her love for Kathak dancing, showcasing a harmonious blend of professional excellence and artistic expression. We are privileged to have Dr. Soni to share her insights and expertise with us today. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me over.
So moving on to our panel discussion and session on entire discussions on how dance for children and how it should motivate parents to make dance as a compulsory or making dance as something mandatory for their personality development. I'll start with Dr. Soni. Ma'am, as a Kathak dancer and a gynecologist, you have a unique perspective on both physical and emotional development. How does engaging in dance positively impact a child's physical health, particularly in terms of their overall well-being and development?
There are different forms of dance. I'm not going to say Kathak is the answer to everybody's problems because Kathak by itself is the mother of all Indian dance. But having said that, dance in any form, whether Western or Indian, inculcates culture, inculcates coordination in the body, inculcates a sense of discipline and a sense of productivity. It lets your mind flow. It allows your body to flow along with the steps and the music. So it lets you release your pent-up emotions. So if you actually have to ask me, there are dime a dozen advantages of dance for children or even for the adults for that matter.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Preeti, your expertise lies in dance movement therapy. Could you elaborate on how dance can be used as a therapeutic tool to nurture children's emotional development and help them express themselves more effectively?
I think, one thing is adding on to Dr. Anita's points, so dance, as what she mentioned, we take all that and use it therapeutically. Okay,
Okay.
so in dance movement therapy, we don't use any particular dance form. So we use a lot of, free movement, but we also take in movements from Indian dance forms, be it Bharatnatyam, Kathak, the footwork of Kathak, the
Oh,
mudras of Bharatnatyam,
okay.
the folk dances. We use folk dances from, different parts of India. Try
Yeah.
and bring all this and, work on the physical, social, emotional, cognitive aspects of, children. Now, what happens is, one thing is it's a very safe and non-judgmental space that we mostly create. So, allowing the child to move in any way they want.
Okay.
There is no right or wrong movement. That's one of the first things that guidelines that we give, be it children, adults. So it's just that let's just move how we can. It could be, you know, playing a sport, just
Yeah.
trying to, throw a ball. That's also a movement. We start from there.
So,
And from there, build on movement, to like help in body awareness, building awareness of the body. Okay, how do different parts of my body move? Kind of building a 3D image of their body. Yeah, so
mm,
building that image for themselves. So that's something that we do. And then, of course, creative exploration.
mm,
Children, use movement to experiment with different movement patterns, kind of
yeah.
discovering new ways of expressing themselves.
Correct.
So, yeah, so, and then also allowing, like Dr. Soni said, allowing them to, kind of release pent up emotions can be released. Apart
Mm,
from that, we also work on kind of recognizing different emotions.
yeah.
What are the different emotions? As they move, can they move these different emotions? Do they understand how these emotions also feel in the body?
Mm,
So,
mhm.
all this comes under dance movement therapy.
Right, right. Thank you, ma'am. So when you say that all movements come from therapy, dance therapy, I would just want to come across some social skills in children to Dr. Soni. Ma'am, from your experience, how does participating in dance activities contribute to social skills in children? Are there any specific aspect of dance to facilitate social interaction and collaboration?
When you dance with people, you dance with music. You
Mm-hmm.
can dance alone, but for a child, you would send the child to a dance class. So it starts with discipline of attending class on time.
Okay.
Then there is social interaction with different kids of different ages, different well-being, different family, socioeconomic, different mental health issues, physical health issues. So you get to accept, or you get to interact with different kids of different wants and needs,
Yeah.
and you still have to accept them in a class and kind of collaborate with all of them and bring out a dance form of your own. What
Mm-hmm.
I would say is, for parents, don't push, give the child the choice. It's when you make it, time is so and so, you have to be there, you have to do this. First thing in a child is rebel, and everybody including me has done that when we were children. But as you grow forward, you look
Yeah.
forward to the discipline of maintaining time,
Yeah.
the discipline of respect of your teacher, the
Mm,
discipline of interacting with social peers of different age groups, the discipline of having to follow a perfect dance form, whether it is a mudra, whether it is a tal, whether it is, just a free movement of your body or just your expression. Trying to adjust or trying to bring out that facet in you
yeah.
as per what the teacher is saying, disciplines the brain to kind of go into a pattern and recognize what your body is capable of doing and what you feel. And then, like everybody says, you dance your heart away. And
Yeah.
once you
So
get into the rhythm, there's no stopping you.
Absolutely. Right, ma'am. Thank you. Actually, I will dwell a little bit more on discipline little next on my next question. On the same line, Preeti. So ma'am said about the discipline and children have this rebel attitude and everything, but also there's another part to it. When they have the stage fear, shyness, and how can dance therapy be utilized to help children overcome these obstacles to build confidence?
Right. Okay. So, yeah. So somewhere here, dance movement therapy will kind of differ a little from dance. Not little. It differs from a dance class. Is where how dance forms require perfect mudras, and like if I say I'm a Bharatnatyam dancer with a background, we had to maintain a particular stance. The posture, everything. Whereas here, that those regulations and rules are not there, so sometimes it allows a child to be a little more open with
Mhm.
movement because they can try out different movements.
Mm.
Okay, so sometimes if a child is shy to even move, because I get a lot of children who don't even want to move, they're like, oh no, I can't move.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we start with very simple movement, kind of like a gradual exposure. Sometimes it'll be like, okay, let's start with, why don't you tell me your name and just show me a movement, as
Oh,
simple as that. So they will say their name, and maybe their movement could be as simple as saying hi, that's also a movement. So we start with simple things like that and kind of gradually, work on that, and then work on a lot of positive reinforcement, kind of saying, okay, yes, you can do this movement now, can you add on something more to it, and let's see what happens. And
okay.
like ma'am was saying, how in dance, it's very, you dance with somebody else. So
Mm.
that's something that we use, dance movement therapy. So we sometimes it's movement alone, but a lot of times it's dancing with somebody else. So in pairs, maybe triads or small groups. So they start with being exposed to, okay, can I move with another person? Can I mirror another person's movement?
Mm.
And
Mm.
if it is, sometimes it could be a one-on-one session with me, so maybe I and the child would mirror each other's movements.
Okay.
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 So what the child does, I also do. And as the child sees, okay, somebody else is doing my movements, and how does that look? That kind of builds confidence in the child. Like, okay, they can experiment a little more, try more movements. And then slowly, kind of, we also encourage children to come up with small choreographies that they create on their own, like how ma'am was saying. So this also happens, in a dance movement therapy session. Children also create their own choreographies, present it
Yes.
in front of a group. So, when you start these in small,
Yeah. Yeah.
steps, then
Yeah.
they kind of build on and gain confidence to show it to a larger group. And then they start, as they become aware of their body also, they start gaining confidence in their body and in their movement.
I remember when you were part of the webinar session on Mind Matters, when you had dwelled upon how taking little small steps is what makes the entire part of this entire therapy a success. On the same lines, yeah, Dr. Soni, you mentioned, I don't know, you stole my question in the second round itself, but then,
I'm
ma'am,
sorry.
no problem. Being a Kathak dancer and a medical professional, there's something very common is that discipline. Discipline in both the fields of your lives have been too much. So, how does learning dance foster discipline in children? And how does this discipline transcend into other areas of lives?
Okay, let me start with one thing. I started dancing at the age of 2, which everybody says was too young to dance. But my mother put me into dance class because she found me overweight. And she found that that was the best way to encourage physical activity. Weight I never lost. I went up to an all-time high of God knows what. But with all my weight, I kept dancing. So I actually did 10 years of Manipuri and then 20 years of Kathak. So for the longest time of my life, through my education and reproduction, I was learning dance. It was only after my dance professor expired, who was a student of Professor Birju Maharaj. He
Oh,
died of cancer, and then, I kind of gave up training, though I would still dance on stage for occasions in college and med school, but learning from the source stopped once he expired. But having said all of that, it has made me or nurtured me as an individual.
mm,
Over the years, mentally, it kind of is a stress buster. I deal with life and death, and not of one person, of the
yeah,
mother and the child.
yeah.
So I do a very stressful job. And with high risk pregnancy and the mother, these are already women who are at the end of their tether, looking at, down an abyss where they are very negative because they've lost previous pregnancies, they've come for third and fourth opinions. So working with them, I need to be positive. And what gives me my positivity is the fact that I can go home and relieve all my stress by either, listening to some music, watching some dance, or most of the times dancing myself. Indian dance, I do Western classical. So whether it's a foxtrot, whether it's a jive, I can go ahead and just break into, depending on who my partner for the day is and who's coming visiting, or if I'm alone, just dance to gay abandon on Bollywood music as a part of exercise. But at the end of the day, it gave you that outlet of stress. It has taught me how to, for myself, how to respect my body, how obesity and its complications could really, end in a lot of medical complications and unwanted situations. And I know that I need to take care of myself because I don't want to be a liability to my children, because I'm all of 57 years old. So, with these forms of dance, whatever form it is, just keep myself active, push myself to better myself. And in that form, my joint mobility, my activity levels, my stamina is so much better than other 57-year-old. So when you have technically very conventional patients, they come and they tell you, हाँ हाँ अभी नहीं समझता है, जब एज होएगा तभी समझेगा. I said, और कितना एज होना चाहिए समझने के लिए? So they won't believe it. So what? Just to add humor to it. But at the end of it all, it's just you've got to understand that this is a machine, and your body, you respect your body, and you work around it. The more you do that, the better oiled the system gets and lasts you longer.
Correct. So you mean that the discipline is what has led to this entire journey?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it taught you that you need to respect the machine that can translate into any of these dance forms. And that machine is your body. So you start respecting yourself, you start respecting the samne wala person, you start respecting your teacher,
Yeah.
and you inculcate positive habits. You
Right. Right.
spread positivity as you go around.
Right, right, absolutely. That's a whole lot to digest, actually, because the entire how discipline has mattered so much in your life. Ma'am, Preeti, coming to the next question, that pulling a string from ma'am's talk, creative movement therapy emphasizes the mind body connection, as she keeps saying. How does engaging in dance activities promote mindfulness and self awareness in children, thereby enhancing their personal growth?
Right. So yes, like ma'am was talking about, the body
Yeah,
being so
exactly.
important, right? So, what affects the body affects the mind, and what
Yeah,
affects the mind affects the
excellent.
body. So that's something that is one of the basic principles of dance movement therapy
Mm.
that we work with, and I believe, whatever happens to come, try and come back to the body, and a lot of times you get the answers for whatever you're looking for. Now in children, first of course is building body awareness, and also try helping them understand, like I mentioned earlier, emotions, what's happening in the body when I go through different emotions, kind of acknowledging that, understanding that. So that's one thing that we work with. And also, when you dance, you are completely in the present moment, right?
Yeah.
You are not thinking about anything else. So, you are in the current moment, be it slow movement, be it, fast rhythmic movement, you are in the
Yeah.
present moment. And that's something that we work with children as well. That
Absolutely.
brings in the focus to and attention to the present moment. Apart from that, we use, like uh, breathing exercises. It could be as simple as, can we breathe in, lift our hands up, breathe out, bring our hands down, so simple like that. Or, kind of also looking at body scan.
Mhm.
Even with children, sometimes, when they, engage in a lot of movement, and then we would invite them to kind of lie down on the floor and just bring attention to the body. What's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening in your fingers? What's happening in your arms? After all the movement. So it's like, some of them will say, ma'am, my hands are vibrating. I can feel something. I feel like blood is flowing through my arms or my legs. So just bring awareness to the body. We kind of extend this process after movement, being mindful of the body, of what are you feeling in the body after all this, kind of reflecting on that. So yeah, bringing a lot of focus on the body and the present moment is what we
Yeah,
work.
yeah, absolutely. Like we also have in yoga the shavasana where you
Yes,
sleep
yes,
and then observe the entire body to bring in that mindfulness.
right, right.
Great, great. Thank you so much, ma'am. So on the last but not the least question, but then Dr. Soni, as a parent yourself, I would come back to that particular question now. How would you advise parents to encourage their children's interest in dancing while ensuring they maintain a balance with other aspects of education, extracurricular activities, and all of that?
Today, life is a very competitive place, and gone are the days where children had that much time to, use, get, in extracurricular activities, get involved and whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't force your children.
Okay.
Allow them to make the choice. Let them explore. If
Mhm.
not one form, maybe another. If not a second form, some form of physical activity. Because today, if you see children say we're going down, it's playtime. They go down and they're all, each one of them is on their mobile or their PSP or what have you. And I said, what were you all doing? We were playing games, and they're all sitting next to each other, but there's no physical activity.
Activity.
And today, if you really see, we are seeing a lot of childhood obesity, fatty liver, and a lot of other medical complications, including mental and physical, which is on the rise because of eating habits and altered lifestyle, which has become more sedentary. And COVID didn't help us because a lot of things went online. The idiot boxes became more a part of your life than anything else. So people have started work from home, etc., etc. So it's not been as easy as it would have been 20 years ago. But again, encourage, don't force.
Okay.
If you force and you tell your child, you have to do this because I said it is right, trust me, the child is only going to revolt. The child is not going to accept it. Offer different forms. Let them go for one or two trial classes on different kind of activities, on different dance forms, on different physical things which are involving you physically, whether it is taekwondo, karate, whether it is Kathak, Manipuri, Western dance. Nobody's telling you what, or just a walk.
Absolutely.
Make them do some kind of physical activity and let them appreciate. Always reinforce positive change in the child rather than reinforcing you're so lazy, you're so fat, you're so ugly, you're so this. Reinforcing negativity only brings out more negativity. So please encourage the children. And
Right.
if you want them to do something, my suggestion is start by example, lead by example, start doing it yourself.
Right. Ma'am,
Involve the child with you.
one question, but you've been learning dance under a great artist for 30 years. Haven't you felt that someone else also has to learn
Of
dance?
course, can I share something with you? Both my
Sure, sure.
children refused to dance.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to teach them forever,
yeah.
and neither of them. But today they realize, of course, now they're 27 and 24. They do
Okay.
come out dancing, but now my little one keeps telling me, Ma, can you teach me how to jive? Can you teach me how to waltz? But when they were younger and I was willing to send them to Shamak Davar or Sandeep Saparkar or name it, and they
Okay.
say,
Okay.
who's interested? My friends don't go there. This is not what it is. You people are too old. You all are old fashioned and etc. and etc. But today things are changing. And when they are in the
Uh,
country, they say, Mama, can you please teach us? But
yeah.
yeah,
Right. Sweet. Yeah. Sure. Thanks. Thanks a lot for sharing that, ma'am. Preeti, so while we talk about all of this, can you share some success stories or anecdotes from your practice where dance therapy has had a significant impact on child's personality development?
Yeah, one child is coming to my mind right now. This is in a school, and I used to go to schools and I used to work with a lot of children, and one of the children, had a lot of anger issues. Didn't know what even in the sessions, a child would express a lot of anger. But again, in the movement therapy session, went really slow, and there would be times the child would say, I am not dancing. We're like, okay, we would give the child a lot of agency. The child can decide,
Okay.
whether, and they take control of, do I want to dance? Do I want to be a part of the session or no? But as I created that space for the child, over time, the child would keep seeing, okay, everyone's doing something. Let me also try what they're doing. And then slowly the child started stepping in.
Fine.
Initially it was like, what are you doing? It was almost telling, I mean, the child was telling me, this is not dance, because we would have fun and a lot of things. And then slowly the child started stepping in. Okay, I want to try this. Maybe one activity. Then they would step out. Then again,
Okay.
come say, okay, this also looks like fun. But at the, kind of at the end of that school year, the child came to me and said, oh, this has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And I
Okay.
also saw, like the change in that
Change.
personality of the child, how a lot of the anger had reduced. I kind of spoke to the teachers, and they also acknowledged that, yeah, the child seems to be a lot more regulated, because that's
Okay.
something that we work with, emotional regulation,
Yeah.
understanding emotions, and then helping, children or adults, regulate emotions. Okay, well, anger is coming up. Recognize that, but what can we do with that also? So,
Hmm.
so that's one thing that's coming to my mind right now.
Ma'am, so yes, yes, Dr. Soni.
can I add to
Yeah,
something to
sure,
that?
sure, sure.
The biggest example is me myself. I
Okay.
started performing on stage at the age of 7 and 8. My
Okay.
first dance was Manipuri, and I was this roly-poly fat pudding that went on stage. But I just went and danced. I don't even remember what it was. I was in school. But from there to today, there's never been a function where I'm not on stage.
Oh,
I I conduct, I'm the master of ceremonies for practically every annual function that we celebrate. I have participated in all various dance forms, whether Western, Indian, Bollywood, etc.
mhm.
And the confidence has only built up over the years.
Yeah.
The stage fright, the fear of recitation, the fear of going impromptu,
Mm, mm.
letting out the fear of being confident or coming across confidently with a point has all come through dance forms, because that has helped me develop as a human being. So I don't have to look very far. When I look at myself, I'm only thankful to the people that helped me inculcate this creative art form where now if I have to speak, I know sometimes, I can modulate my voice, I can modulate my looks, I can do a whole lot of stuff, and it comes across pretty confident and good.
Absolutely. So both of you, this particular question, because maybe a lot of parents are listening to this now. So when you say this confidence, and maybe when Preethi was saying from an angry child, the child has become so regulated. Do you think there are certain forms of dance to do this, or anything in dance can create you this magic?
I think it's anything.
Anything.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Dance is magic. Dance
Oh, okay.
is love. Dance is passion. Dance is creativity. And the only way you can grow with it is if you allow yourself to flow along with the movement. It is
Absolutely.
not a particular stereotype. It
Okay.
is allowing your body to move and to, yeah,
Yeah.
to be
So just
honest.
adding on, I would say,
Yeah.
that confidence is within
Uh,
the body, that's what you have built.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
that comes out, that you can go anywhere and talk, dance, improvise, do anything because the confidence is literally in yourselves, I would say, because you
I
have
would agree
moved.
with you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well
Thank you.
said.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. One last question to both of you. That in conclusion, of course, Dr. Soni said that no force, but then it's a choice for parents to say this. But still, ma'am, what are your final thoughts or key takeaways for parents and educators on the role of dance in nurturing personality development for child?
Well, it is very, very important for all children across the board. The younger they are,
Hmm.
the more malleable they are to accept a form, the less shy they feel or less conscious they feel. As they grow, they get the option to decide. So start early in school. I have requested schools to include this as a subject. It is like you have PE or you have any kind of sporty activity. You can have dance and let them then bifurcate in whatever dance form they enjoy the best and kind of build it on from there till they move on into college and later in life. It helps develop the child in total.
Okay, great, great. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Preeti, so as we wrap up, what advice would you offer to parents who are hesitant to explore dance therapy as a means of supporting their child's personality or emotional skills development?
Right. Uh, so one thing is, it is a fun way to do it. So, developing personality need not be sitting and listening, but we do a lot, through movement, and children enjoy the process. That's one thing. So, it's a fun way, and it's a holistic way to nurture children's personality, I would say. It's because it's all aspects: physical, emotional, cognitive, social, behavioral. So everything comes under this. And just to add on to what ma'am was saying, when she was talking about schools also having dance
Literally.
as part of their curriculum, we have something called therapeutic dance in education, where
Okay,
dance is used in classrooms to teach subjects,
oh,
even
great.
maths, science, English, or social studies, whatever it is. Movement it can be incorporated in your regular curriculum, such that different subjects can be taught in that. So again, making teaching also a fun thing. So this is something for educators, I would say.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Anita Soni. Thank you, Preethi Rajagopalan, for sharing such insightful knowledge on dance. And of course, your passion for both of your fields. I think it's so much that I think it should inspire millions of children's parents and everyone in this globe. Thank you so much, panelists, for joining. Thank you, listeners, for tuning into happystl.com. For more information, please log on to www.happystl.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Kumaran. Well done.